All right, g'day everyone. Welcome to the first episode of the Six Pack podcast presented by Double A Productions. My name is Alex and this is my co-host Aaron.
Hello.
It's nice to be with you guys. We're really excited to kick things off today. Today is, like I mentioned, our first episode of our podcast. Look, the main point of this podcast, I suppose, is it's to be really realistic, and we want to kind of personalize with you guys and personalize with the audience. Talk a bit about what's going on in the world, but also talk a bit about ourselves. What our experiences are, and where we want to go. And I think the most exciting part of this podcast will be obviously it being the Six Pack podcast. We come in sixes. We have full intention of drinking 6 beers per episode, which will be roughly 40 minutes to an hour long.
Between the two of us, of course. I think we'd both die if we had 6 between us.
You maybe, but
6 in 1 hour to ourselves, we'd be passed out by the end of that.
And look, I mean, if that's how we end up, that's how we end up. All right, and we want to keep this as real and as authentic as we can.
Yes, of course.
So obviously, like I said, things come in sixes, right? So 6 pack between us, whether it's 3 with him and 3 with me, or 4 and 2, or however we decide to do it, that's what we'll do. But also the other 6 that we have is we want to talk about kind of like 6 different segments.
Yes. So each episode will contain 6 segments, as in to keep it with our 6 pack theme.
Yeah.
So 6 beers, 6 segments. 6.
That's it. 6 beers and 6 segments. That's the 2 things. But look, the exciting thing that we're going to do, obviously 6 pack themed and obviously brew themed, is each episode we're going to do a brew review, and in which Alex and Aaron are going to review. Alex and Aaron are going to review a brew. And we're gonna give our honest opinion on what that beer will be like. Today we have started off with Pirate Life South Coast. I'll get it right and close for you. South Coast Pale Ale. Look at that, non-sponsored. Would like to be sponsored, but
One day.
Our intention is to get sponsored by Duracell. With the name like Double A Productions.
Oh, yeah, I was about to say, how does 6 pack tie into Duracell? Then I remembered it's the Double A thing, isn't it?
Yeah. So hopefully, if this is your first interaction with Aaron and myself,
Which it most likely will be because it's the first episode.
But what I'm trying to say is, like, we do plan on, and we do have full intention of starting like a multi-series sort of approach, right? Like, as you can tell, we are new, I suppose, to the influencer. God, I hate that fucking word. The only thing I want to be influencing is what brews to choose. There we go.
What brews to choose.
Yeah, so we want to have like multiple different things, right? So we're going to have a gaming channel. We're going to have shorts to keep it short and sweet with those who have short attention span like myself. Obviously, we've got our podcast, and then down the line, we want to expand into more things and expand into more people. So, look, hopefully, expand with more people. So, hopefully, this will be a nice reminisce in the long term, looking back how awkward and uncomfortable we were.
I don't think our missus will be happy if we expand into more people, as you
but that's okay. All right. So I suppose that's kind of an introduction into what our game plan is. Tell us about yourself, Aaron. Introduce yourself. What's your story?
Hi, I'm Aaron. I'm 21. My story is I was born in Sydney to 2 Polish immigrants. I moved from Sydney to Coffs Harbour at the age of 11. That is where I met Alex at school. We went to primary school together and then high school together. And then he moved up here for university. I did not. I stayed in Coffs Harbour for another year. And then I moved up to Gold Coast, which is where I now live with my girlfriend. So that's what you need to know.
What do you do for work?
I'm a landscaper.
Landscaper. So this man is out there keeping your landscaped.
Tell us a bit about yourself, Alex.
So my name's Alex.
Hi, Alex.
As Aaron mentioned, yeah, look, similar story. I grew up in Coffs Harbour, New South Wales. Didn't live in Sydney. Born and raised in Coffs Harbour. It was nice down there. I think Coffs is, I think we can both agree, is a very like visually like beautiful place. But it's one of those areas in which if you don't want to go into, I suppose, nursing or education through the university there, which don't get me wrong, 100% respect, and or go into a trade, there's not really much else for you. And, and I didn't want to do that. Again, the Coffs was great for those sorts of things if you're interested, but if you kind of wanted to get out and you wanted to get in the city and try anything new, then yeah, that's kind of like what it was there for. So yeah, I first job was at KFC as a team member. Then I moved to Brisbane. When I kind of like finished school, studying university. So I'm still in university. I study a dual degree in engineering and business. I work full time. I work in marketing. I also have a girlfriend. I don't live in Gold Coast. I live in Brisbane. That's kind of a bit about me. I think the thing that Aaron and I kind of want to utilize here in our podcast is we are, I suppose, very different people. And that's kind of been like the basis of our friendship, right? Like, Aaron and I have very conflicting opinions. We have very conflicting ideologies. I'm sure you can probably already see that already by the fact that I feel like we've been talking a lot, which is common. But yeah, that's kind of a bit about us.
So, how's your week been, Alex?
Yeah, good. It's been a bit of an eventful week, to be honest. Had a lot going on. I'm looking for I got approached to hopefully start a new job, which I'm applying for, which is exciting. It's like a growth and engagement officer. So hopefully I get it. I'm keen to kind of grow and broaden my skills and see what else I can kind of do in the business world. Working for a not-for-profit, which is cool. So I'll be working with the audio impaired.
The audio impaired? Do you mean deaf people?
Deaf people, yeah, I do. I don't know, with blind people, you say visually impaired.
But you also just say blind. I don't know why you say audio. Who the fuck is ever said audio impaired?
I don't know. I just tried to come up with a cool way to say deaf people. But yes, I'm working with deaf people, and it'll be rewarding, I'm sure.
Yes, I'm sure. Audio impaired.
The audio impaired. Heard it here first. It's going to catch on. That's going to become a trend.
Yes. Will it?
Yeah. It's like Yeet. I'm going to make Yeet come back.
I hope not.
So that's exciting. I'm keen to give that a go, and I'm keen to kind of see that process through. Otherwise, it's been pretty intense. Obviously, Aaron and I are in the process of obviously setting everything up. So recording, business meetings, as we say, which typically just involves drinks and dinner, which is why we figured we'd incorporate it as part of our six-pack podcast, right? But yeah, it's been a lot of that. I've been tossing and turning around what sort of, I suppose, direction we should take our brand, really, like the Double A Productions brand, how we want to present ourselves and, what we want to do. So that's been fun to know. I suppose that's kind of been my week. I spent, I think, like 4 or 5 hours last night tossing over what I was going to do for the logo. And Aaron forgot password to using this email.
Well, to your email, I've
to my email.
And the other
I said that while Aaron was tasked with setting up the admin side of things. Set me up an email and then forgot the password. So now we don't have access to it. All right, over to you, Aaron. What's been happening? What's been happening with you? How's your week?
Pretty good, I guess. Just been working.
I had my Christmas party.
Yeah, you did a Christmas party. How was that?
It was good. It was actually a really fun time. It was like my first Christmas party, like after COVID with my company, which was great. I got to talk to a bunch of people and stuff that I hadn't talked to before, which was good. Some people got a little bit messy. I mean, it happens at Christmas parties, right? I like to think I presented myself with,
I mean, they kind of got too messy because I saw a thing about this dude who works for Sky News. I can't remember his name, but he's now been like sacked from 2GB and Sky for his inappropriate behaviour towards women. Did any of your colleagues get that? Did anyone get inappropriate towards you, Alex?
No, there was a hookup. Like there was a few people that hooked
I
up.
thought you said a hooker.
No.
It sounds fucking very interesting.
Definitely not. No, there was a few hookups between like colleagues and stuff, which was a bit awkward.
Well, that sounds fucking bad, actually. Like conflicts of interest and.
Well,
shit.
okay, so the main one who was a bit like there was a few little like things here and there, but the main one was like with an ex-employee and a current employee.
How does an ex-employee score an invite to the Christmas party?
Well, it was at the after party. Like because we went to obviously we had our function center and then we went to like a pub and went to the pub after that. And then like obviously like it's a fucking pub, so anyone can walk into a pub.
Yeah.
So then like a few of the old employees like who still have like mutual friends and stuff, I caught up with some of the old guys who I haven't seen in a while, which was nice. Yeah, and then the next thing I knew there was just two people that were just necking on, and then it was just like the whole night, which was hilarious.
Fair enough.
Yeah, but I mean, it doesn't cause too much drama considering she doesn't work for the company anymore. So
No. Either of them married or anything like that?
you didn't have to marry her.
No, were there any of them married or anything like that?
No. I have heard stories in the past though, about that, but no, not this time.
No, that's good then at least.
Everyone was somewhat well behaved. We get like the typical like corporate email that goes out, which is like reminder that you are representing the company and
If you act like too much of a fuckwit, we're kicking you out.
you're out. But no, everyone was actually somewhat well behaved. I had two of like my colleagues come up from Victoria, and they're fucking champions, both of them. And one of them is this bloke, and he's an absolute unit. Like he will just throw back piss like it's nothing. And he was the last one out, so he was out till what, 3 a.m. and then he told me he went back because he was staying like near the office, and then he went to the pub and was at the pokies till like 4 a.m. And then he came and was working with me the next day at like fucking 9 a.m. and he was great.
Doesn't fucking stop then.
No, he doesn't. And then he's like, oh, I'm flying back to Victoria and I'm catching up with some of the boys after this. I'm like, fucking Jesus Christ. Yeah.
So Aaron, how was your week?
Sorry, I forgot about that. Sorry, Aaron. How was your week?
Yeah. I don't have anything.
Next segment.
So, a fun thing.
Fun thing.
I do not know how to drive manual, as you would know.
Yeah, I tried.
And luckily for me, this week I get to drive around a manual car at work.
Like have you trained? Like have you practiced, or will you like literally be doing it for the first time?
Nah, so I've had like a little bit of experience now. So,
Like, are we talking back when I tried to teach you when we were like 17?
no,
Is that your experience?
One of the guys I work with, he's got a truck, and I've driven it's a manual truck, and I've driven that a couple of times.
As in like a ute?
But no, it's like a full-on truck.
Like a flatbed?
Like a
box truck?
Flatbed. So like, but that one you can start in second. You don't need to start it in first.
Yeah.
So it makes it a bit easier. Does
Okay.
it make it a bit easier?
Right, sorry, I wasn't listening. What'd you say?
What do you mean we weren't listening?
I was looking at the camera.
So you fucking talk on for like 10 minutes and then I start talking. You're like,
I have ADHD. Sorry, continue.
So you can start it in second gear. You can just skip first gear.
The fuck do you mean? Like,
You just started in second gear.
how does that? That's probably harder.
Oh, well, that's what you can do with it. You literally just I started in second gear. You don't bother
Look,
with
to be
that.
fair, I don't have any experience with driving trucks, so I don't know if it is a possibility or not. But like the point of first, it's the easiest gear to pull away in.
Yeah, I guess. Oh, well, I pulled away in second and I did stall it a fair bit, but anywho, back.
Why do you actually find pulling away in first more difficult than pulling away?
Well,
in
this is just what the dude who was teaching me said. He's like, you can just pull away in this truck in second. Don't bother fucking doing first.
Well, because obviously, like, the higher the gear you get, the better speed you have. So he's probably old mate's probably just want to fang it.
Well, yeah, it's a work truck. Of course he wants to fucking fang it. Anywho, so tomorrow I've got to fucking drive the work around, and that's a manual. And apparently the clutch in it is dog shit.
The clutch in every single work you'd ever is dog shit or box truck. Or
So have you got any tips?
on how to drive a manual?
I don't know anything. So let's
trick- the key-
let's hypothetically say.
I will go back to the lesson that I first taught you.
Let's hypothetically say my boss expects me to drive from the yard down to Coomera. The yard is in Brisbane, and I live in, and where we're going is in the Gold Coast. So let's hypothetically say that my first real experiences driving a manual will be having to fucking drive it on the motorway and through traffic lights and shit. Am I screwed?
Yeah, probably. Look, the key to driving a manual is obviously like, mate, you should just stay in first and just clutch in, clutch out. Oh, no. Oh my god. You don't need to worry about the speed.
Isn't your top speed then in first, like 30?
Well, in a flatbed truck, it's probably less.
Well, this is just an actual ute.
Okay.
No truck.
Yeah, look, you take off the clutch as you put down the accelerator. Like, that's the easiest thing. You want to pull out the clutch and push down the accelerator.
Yeah.
And then if you hear a certain point, like when it starts hitting, like when you start hearing it rev, change gear. Do you like? You'll obviously have to like. Then you clutch in, change the gear, same thing again. It's literally just until you rev, switch gears, go again, and then you got to do this like changing gears down, much easier.
So
you just ghost ride that shit.
So let's say you're in first, so you put the clutch down, and then as you go change gears, you then take your foot off the clutch and just put down the accelerator.
Yeah.
But then as you're coming, so let's say that I'm in like fourth gear cruising down the motorway. Do I then need to switch down every time I drop in speed?
Yes, 100%. Because otherwise,
So you go back to third, then back to second, then back to first.
Yeah, you need to gear up.
Can you go from fourth back to one straight away?
In theory, yes. That's like I don't know
What do you mean in theory?
Well, yes, you can. It fucks the gearbox, but yes, you can do that.
Oh, it's a work.
So what you can do is you can like it's called like I don't know if it's like ghost riding it. No, it's probably not. I don't know, but it's like you can clutch in, you hold the clutch down, and then as you slow down, you then can just like gear back in.
Okay.
Like ideally you should gear down like 4, 3, 2, 1, like slow down, change gear, slow down, change gear, but you can just.
When you had the Mazda, did you slow down, change gear?
Mate, I had a 2006 Mazda. I definitely
went from fourth to one.
Definitely did that. No, fourth to one is like first gear is very slow. Fourth to second, maybe. Like fourth to one is like going fucking 10 k's an hour, if that. Yeah.
So model those threes, I'm screwed.
Yeah, look, and to be honest, I don't drive manual these days anyway either, right? Like I'm not going to beat around the bush. I did it for how long? 4 years, 6 years. Yeah. And then when I got a job in the city, driving in peak traffic, clutching in and clutching out, I had the largest calves you've ever seen because I was like moving my feet that much. I was doing calf raises on the way to work. Well, because you're just sitting in traffic like back to back, like literally
you'll fucking go from like 50 back down to.
Well, that's the thing. Like as much as I joked with you about just fucking clutch in and clutch out in first, like that's what I did. Like driving in peak traffic, that's what you do. You just clutch in, clutch out, clutch in, clutch out. It was awful.
Can you take your foot like when you're just sitting on one steady speed? Can you just take your foot off the clutch, or does your foot always have to be like?
No. Your foot doesn't have to be on the accelerator. Like you.
What do you mean? Does that have to be on?
Like
the
you can take like
the accelerator. It's got to be on, doesn't it?
No, so you can clutch out completely, and you will roll.
Yeah.
You don't have to touch the accelerator. If you clutch out like in first, yes, you will roll. As soon as you start pulling off that clutch, you will start moving.
Yeah.
But like you're not moving very fast.
No.
Like it'll just get you roll, and then you've actually got to give it some gas.
Yeah.
I work in a business where I work with aggregators. Like I work in the restaurant.
What's an aggregator?
A delivery aggregator is your Menulog, your DoorDash, your Uber Eats, your Deliveroo. Rest in peace.
Why didn't you just simplify it and not say aggregator in the first place?
Well, that's what they are.
Delivery platform.
Well, it's a delivery aggregator. That's what it's called. Yeah, but I work in the restaurant business, right? So I work on the organization, the optimization, execution, implementation of delivery platforms. There you go. But Aaron, on the other hand, has frequented as an Uber driver.
So yeah, at one point, or I still am technically an Uber driver. So it's kind of good because I give him feedback, I suppose, on how to make my life better, because in my opinion, any
My-
major corporation is absolutely dog shit to deliver.
No, my restaurant's driver satisfaction score is currently sitting at 70%.
That's dog shit.
No, it's not. You compare it to some of the other ones, they're at 40.
Yeah, but that's seriously how bad the fucking experience is.
70%, like 70%. What? That's a distinction.
How the fuck is 70%
No, that's a credit. Sorry,
a
that's
brag?
a credit. No, 70 is higher than fucking 40, is it?
I agree that it's probably better than some, but you can't act like 70.
Well, when you're
great.
dealing with that high volumes, when you've got over fucking 12 people in a restaurant at the same time who are all trying to pick up bloody delivery order,
Yeah.
like there's gonna be
Well,
things.
yeah.
And also,
at peak
like
times,
that also like that score also goes into like your interactions with customers and shit like that
yeah.
too.
Well, at peak times, I agree. You're gonna have like problems, but
70%, that's a good amount of people.
yeah, we're right.
Mate, 50%'s a pass at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, you got a point. But, like, when you're a delivery driver, you go to somewhere like Macca's to pick something up, alright? At Macca's, they've got, like, 3 different, or, like, you see the different screens. So you got the drive-through, and then you got the restaurant, and then you got the delivery orders. And there's nothing that fucking pisses you off more than when you're there to pick up an order, and you see your one delivery order on the screen being ignored the whole time until they finish their fucking in-store and drive-through orders.
Look, that is
You end
one-
up fucking standing around there for like 15 minutes, and then you just want to.
Look, that's
Fight
one
someone.
thing I do think is actually like a culture problem within like the restaurant business, is that people do tend to prioritize the face-to-face customers over delivery drivers, and I think that's basically because in the premise of you know, at the end of the day, the person who has the biggest impact on the restaurant is obviously the customer, and they want to prioritize the customers that they can see. But what a lot of people don't actually come to realize is that having a positive driver rating, I don't even know if you do, having a positive driver rating and having like a positive like customer experience and all those
Mate, I'm
metrics
97%.
actually optimizes your positioning on like the apps.
Yeah, alright, I'm 97%, and yet I still go to McDonald's and I get fucked in the ass. So.
No, I'm saying like as a merchant, as fucking Alex's Burgers. If I like have a terrible driver rating and I treat all my drivers like shit, I actually get put to the
Oh,
back
so
of
you're
the
talking
queue
about like.
on the app, like literally your merchandise less than if you were to treat your drivers with respect.
So like. So like everyone else. So what do you mean for like people to pick up your orders?
So,
Or even like
you know,
people
if you were to go right now onto like the burgers category, right, you
Yeah.
would see every single restaurant that's got burgers.
and you'll be down the bottom because you've. Okay, I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, no,
There you
it's
go.
actually a thing. There's a few different metrics that go into making like your optimization better. You can do things like sponsored listings, which is like paid ads, right? And it'll push you to the top. Or like if you keep it authentic and real, which is what we do on this podcast, is yeah, like your customer rating, like your menu satisfaction, but also like your driver wait times, your prep times, that sort of stuff, your driver satisfaction, all has actually like a flow and impact to your sales and your visibility.
Okay,
That's something that not a lot of people know.
there you go. Inside. Interesting insight from a insider in the delivery industry here. For anyone who actually gives a shit.
Hey, you didn't know that.
I didn't know that. But I also don't give a shit.
But okay, so obviously we've talked a lot about like the delivery side of things. But how do you think the delivery business is going to fare, like in the next few
I
years?
feel like the delivery business just can't fail. Like, I order shit off Uber. I only ever use Uber Eats, is the thing. It's not really anything against any of the other delivery companies. Just Uber Eats is probably, in Australia at least, the most popular one. I remember I used Deliveroo once, but that was because they offered you like a $20 off thing. I think that was probably their like Hail Mary to try and save themselves, but didn't fucking work.
Well, yeah, and that's the biggest thing. Like, you know, Uber were market leaders, right? Like they're always going to have that advantage, and all of the other delivery platforms are kind of just like following suit. There's nothing that's like a major differentiator against them, right? What I think is the biggest thing, like as much as you say that delivery will never fail, but like you've got to remember, like it has. Deliveroo's gone bust. Like DoorDash has just laid off, made over I think it was 1,500 like corporate workers redundant. Menulog has made a bunch of people redundant. Like, it's a fucking tough market out there. Uber is the only one that's not.
But that's because it's such a heavily saturated
It's
market.
such a heavily saturated market, but
Like,
also,
reality
like,
is-
we're going into probably like the highest cost of living pressures we've had in a very long time.
Yeah.
And you've got to remember that every single merchant, well, 90% of merchants that are on delivery platforms have a markup on their price based on the commission that the aggregators charge. So you've already got higher prices on delivery. You add an extra delivery fee on top of that and like a service fee.
Yeah.
Like that's an extra $7 just to get your shit delivered with an extra like $4 on top of what you would normally get.
But I think there is still enough. Like, I don't disagree that some more. I think that
it's just gonna work out the weeds, right? Like,
But I think Uber Eats, for example, and then it'd probably be Uber Eats, then Menulog, and then DoorDash is probably third.
yeah,
From what I've seen, at least.
Yeah.
So I reckon probably like at least Uber Eats, Menulog, and I'd probably say DoorDash will weather the storm. The smaller ones, whose names I can't even remember now.
There's Grubhub.
Yeah, fucked. I don't even think Grubhub. I think Grubhub's more of an American thing.
It is, but it definitely exists. I've definitely had people try and Grubhub me.
Didn't even know it was in Australia.
Yeah. There's a new one that I've seen actually called Providor. I'm seeing their ads like everywhere.
I'd never heard
Providor
of it.
is like a exclusive like I don't know how you say it. It's like you can get like your fancy restaurants delivered. It's not like your Macca's or Jack's or something like that.
But it's probably a Gap.
It's a Gap, but it's also still like it's a markup on price.
Yeah.
Jimmy Brings. What's your thoughts on Jimmy Brings?
I've never used it. Uber delivers alcohol now, so
Yeah. There's actually a Jimmy Brings van down the road.
I've seen it actually. It's on
I've never seen it move.
When you turn off the motorway.
Did you reckon that's Jimmy himself?
Yeah, it must be. I see it there all the time, and I think to myself, I didn't actually know Jimmy Brings had their own vans. I thought it was just kind of like an Uber Eats for alcohol.
But I've never seen it move, mate. I drive that way twice a day.
No, there was actually, on my way up here today, I saw a lady driving a Jimmy Brings van. It's the first time ever.
Was it the one
No, that Jimmy Brings van was still there. But it was the first time ever I've actually seen a Jimmy Brings van anywhere. I didn't think Jimmy Brings had their own vans. I thought it was just these dickheads use their own cars.
Well, I think I've only someone ordered me Jimmy Brings once on my birthday, and they paid like $70 for a fucking. It was like $80 for a case of beer.
Oh, I remember. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and then we didn't end up drinking the beer. I just kept it. It was great.
But yeah, no, you can get alcohol off Uber Eats, and it would probably be either like a few bucks or whatever it normally is.
Yeah. Mate, we need to finish this. Is that your? That's the last one, yeah.
Yeah.
For you.
Yeah.
Okay.
When you pour it in here.
I don't want to mix it with the other beer in there. I can't give an authentic
Oh, I fucking mix mine.
I can't give an authentic beer review with the mixing it in.
It's like trace amounts. I don't think it's really going to mess with it much.
What is one of your most fondest memories from the past? What made Aaron tick?
I remember the first time I ever had alcohol. I was 16. It was at a friend of ours' 18th birthday party. We got him a fish.
We bought him a fish
for his birthday.
Oh, that was the first time you'd ever had a drop of beer.
It was the first time I ever had alcohol.
Were we drinking
Spirit? I remember drinking
Jack
vodka.
and Coke. Was it Jack and
No,
Coke?
I remember drinking vodka.
I remember I was big onto my Jack and Cokes.
I remember at like 2, and that was like it for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember we got him a fish. I remember that. The fish actually made it a surprisingly long amount of time.
Well,
more than a year at least.
It was a fighting fish. Like it was.
Fighting fish. We got him the bowl and everything. Like we didn't just bring him a fish in a bag.
Looking back, it was probably a lot of responsibility to give someone as a present.
Even looking back though, normally like I look back at a lot of the things that I've done in my past and I cringe, but that's one of the things that I wouldn't change.
Like, look, I
thought it was pretty fucking good. I still think it's a pretty fucking good.
I actually did look. It was a good present. Don't get me wrong, right? Like, it was funny. We rocked up with a fucking fish. Aaron and Alex are here to old mate's 18th birthday party, and we have a fish. Yeah. Like, that's a legendary present, right? But we also did then like voluntarily sign him up to be a fish dad for the next 2 years.
Yeah, but I don't think a fish is overly difficult to look up.
Especially not a fighting fish.
No. Like, I just think, like, a fish is a fucking fish. Like,
I've had my fair share of fish.
I've never owned a fish.
I had Bubbles.
I owned
I
that
had one
fish.
called Mrs. Weasley.
I owned that fish for all about an hour before we dropped off it. Because I remember as well, I was only 16, so I couldn't even drive. You drove us there.
Yeah, I did. And my
And
blue
the
Mazda 3.
And the blue Mazda 3.
Absolute truck.
And so I
Was that
thought
the
that-
day that you went missing? You remember that
No,
day?
that was a different day. That was, I had my own, I could drive back then. Because that was, no, yeah.
Same property.
So that's
Same property of the same guy.
So that story, yeah, same property, same guy, probably about a year, probably less than a year later. We were sleeping like out because his mum was actually a teacher at our school, and they had this thing about not letting us sleep in the house, so we had to sleep outside in tents.
To make like it was a property. Like
Yeah,
it was
they had a big property.
big property.
It wasn't like we were all crammed into their little court. This is back in Coffs Harbour, so
Yeah.
like it, they were on acreage, so it wasn't a problem.
Yeah. You just grab a tent, grab a swag, fucking sleep in your car,
Yeah,
sleep under your
whatever.
car, whatever.
But I think it was like March or something, and like March in Coffs Harbour isn't exactly a cold month of the year. But this particular night ended up being a tad
I
cold.
like how you're telling the story considering you're the one that watched.
Well, I remember bits and fucking pieces of it, alright? So it ended up being a tad colder than expected. So I was in a tent, and then I remember passing out at some point. I woke up like a few hours later, freeze my ass off. So I'm like, yeah, you know what, fuck this. So I think I went inside. I can't remember why I went inside, but I went inside, and it was really warm in there because I had the heating like on. So I was like, fuck this, I'm staying inside. So I ended up wandering through the house, and I found
This
it.
man's
empty.
drunk as a skunk.
I'm
He's walking
still-
through the house.
Yeah, I'm still drunk, walking through the house, and I'm finding an empty bedroom. And what
would you have done?
I wasn't even sure it was
You didn't
empty.
even know it was empty.
I remember I opened the door. Actually, I didn't even know.
No, I remember you telling me. You said you walked into the
Yeah.
room and you walked up to the bed and patted the bed.
Yeah, patted the bed to make
to
sure
see
no one
if
was in
anyone
it.
was in there.
Yeah. And so when I discovered there was no one in it, I was like, you know, fuck this, and I passed out there. And then I woke up.
Okay. So I'll fill in the blanks on my side then to when you woke up. So were we sharing a tent or like a car or
No,
something?
I was in my own separate tent with two other people, and you were doing your own thing, as like either in your car or whatever. I don't know.
Okay.
We
So-
weren't in the same tent though. I remember.
So look, like a few of our mates and stuff slept over, so there was like a few people around. And I woke up the next day again, like, we had a fun night. I wasn't crazy, but when you're fucking 16, 17, I mean, 2 drinks is crazy, right? So, yeah, we wake up the next morning, and where Aaron was supposed to be sleeping, he just wasn't there. And his car was still there. All of his stuff was still there. But Aaron was nowhere to be seen. Look, Aaron had a tendency of getting a little bit silly. We would go on walks and stuff when he'd had a few drinks. And we are like in the middle of acreage. Like, I can't stress enough. Like, to the left there was like a plantation, and there was like marsh, and then to the front of us there was like pure fucking bush. Like, it was literally like thick forest. Like, yeah, it was hectic. And so we wake up and Aaron is just nowhere to be seen. And obviously, like Aaron said, like there was a rule that you weren't allowed to go inside. So like only the host went and like did a quick check around inside and then was like, no, he's not in there. So we're like looking everywhere, looking where he slept. Like I remember literally looking through the scrub and like I was walking through the bush to try and find Aaron because this man in my eyes was gone. The yowie had taken him. He was just gone. And we just couldn't find him. Like I think we were searching, like I think we were searching for like 40 to 45 minutes.
No, I think it was longer. I think it was like 2 hours. Because I remember when you found me. All I remember is you bursting in the room,
Beating the shit out of you.
fist up like I'm gonna kick your ass. I'm like, what the hell's going on? I then just woke up. What have I done wrong? But yeah, I was just like asleep, oblivious to all of this.
Yeah, and like me and like 4 or 5 friends were like looking around. Like the parents were awake at this point. Like everyone was on the Aaron hunt. Like, because there was a pool, so like, oh my gosh, has he fallen in? Like, we were thinking like the worst because again, like Aaron said, like it was like 40 minutes at a minimum, 2 hours max.
Like it's a sort of like the property was like far enough away from anything. Like it was probably
There was
like
like
at
we were
least-
walking down, like it was like acreage to acreage, right? Like it was like there was like a massive like fucking pond and like lagoon down there, and like
It was probably like close to like 10 k's away from any like
anything like
anything
decent.
like
And
there
so-
are other properties and stuff around, but like it's all like the nearest like
suburbia.
yeah, the nearest like suburbia is like 10 k's away. So like it's too far to get there by walking. So reality is, if you try to, you die.
Yeah.
At least after fucking
Well,
getting
and we're
sloshed.
like walking down the road to like try and find him. We're checking the bushes and everything, and then like the host was like, "Let me just go and check inside again, because we know that we're not supposed to go in there, but let's just check again anyway." And then so he comes back and he goes, "You'll never guess what I found him." He was like, he'd like tucked himself under, like he had his like blanket like basically over his entire body. And because like old mate was running around earlier and I like had the lights off and was just like looking and couldn't see anything. And then yeah, like someone was like, we found him. He's literally like asleep. And I remember walking in there and he was so dazed. He was like half asleep, had no idea what was going on. But he looked so comfortable, like he'd been sleeping in like the heat. He had a blanket on. He had like pillows. Meanwhile, all of us are like sleeping in like cold ass tents. And you were just asleep in someone else's bed.
Yeah, it was so fucking cold that night.
It was not that bad.
It was pretty fucking bad.
Everyone else survived.
Yeah, I didn't though.
No. Yeah.
Things I wandered into and the couch was just there and I thought about it. I don't know why I didn't just pass out on the couch. I don't know why I went to the room.
Well, because the couch was outside.
No, there was another couch
Oh,
inside.
right, the inside couch.
I really don't remember much of that. It was pretty funny
It
though.
was pretty funny because I just love I walked up and like felt the bed to see if anyone
Yeah.
was on there. But like also, what would you have done if you felt the bed and someone was there?
Well,
Like, if they
because that
jumped-
was the
if
mate,
they jumped up-
the mate's house we were at. That was his brother's room, and that particular brother was gay, so I could have got dragged into that bed.
No,
for
but
a while.
he wasn't home, was he? He was
No, he
away
was somewhere
overseas
else.
or something, I think. So you got lucked out
I
there.
did like that.
It was either that or
That story could have taken a different.
oh gosh. Anything else from that property?
We went there a few times, and to be honest, every night we had there was pretty good.
Yeah, it was always a good turnout there.
I miss like the property parties.
Yeah, don't get them in the city anymore.
No, I'm getting a fire pit for Christmas.
You can just put it out in the backyard.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna fucking keep it in the house.
Well, I didn't know if you were. Yeah, true. Good point, actually.
Where the hell else is it gonna go?
Good point. Look, you raised a good point. Oh, I had a fire pit at my old place.
At Tarragindi.
Yes.
Why didn't you use it?
It was, I don't know, just never did. It was sitting in my front. You know, where I had that entranceway?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was sitting there.
Oh, because I want to have fires again. Because I missed the old fire thing.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have fires now at my place.
Yeah, that'll be nice. You can come along with us. You can join us for a few fire pit experiences. Yeah.
Who's coming along?
The
The
audience.
viewer.
You are.
The viewer. Good times.
All right.
Pirate Life Brewing South Coast Pale Ale. What do you reckon?
Well, look, it comes in at a 1.2 standard with a 4.4% alcohol rating. It's good. Like it's actually not that bad. I do like my pale ales. I don't know what the difference between a South Coast pale ale and a normal pale ale is. I think it's pretty much the same, except it was brewed in fucking Port Adelaide. But yeah, no, it's nice. It's not too intense. Like it's not too hoppy. So that's one thing I feel like you get with a lot of pale ales, right?
Yeah.
Is it can be too fruity or it can be too hoppy. No, I think it's quite good. It's a good level. It's a good neutral for a pale ale, I think. Like I'm actually genuinely surprised this is good. Like, I've actually had a few Pirate Lights before and they're pretty good. But I think what do we rate it at? What's going to be our rating system? 1 to 6 cans.
Yeah. Well, so far you've only spoken. I haven't said anything yet, and you're already wanting to jump to the rating. So maybe let me have a fucking opinion first, and then we'll.
Yeah. I'm just thinking, like, what do we want?
I reckon the 1 to 6 can thing's a good idea.
Oh, thanks. Well, then why'd you cut me off?
Well, I don't drink much pale ale. For me, this probably tastes like most of the other pale ales I've had. I haven't had many. It's pretty good though. I would recommend. I'll drink it again. It was pretty cheap when we got it. It was only $15 for a 4-pack, which is pretty good for this sort of random brewery stuff.
I like Pirate Life is no. I think it's no short of a brewery. Like I don't think it's up there with your Bolter, but I don't think it's just like it's like Green Vegan level.
Like honestly, for like some random brewery and like for your more niche breweries, it's pretty good. I'd recommend. Would buy again.
All right. So what do you want to judge on? Judge on based on would you drink again? Yes or no?
You want taste? Scent.
Am I supposed to smell it out of the can?
I feel like you need 6 things, considering it's 6 is the theme, mate. You got taste, scent. What are the 5 senses? Feel.
Look.
Looks
Yeah,
like a
actually,
pale ale,
look.
to be
Actually,
honest.
yeah. Look, it's not. Well, I mean, it's not a hazy, so it's a pale.
Feels like a liquid.
I rate it out of 6 cans. I'd rate it 3.8. I think it's a pretty normal beer. Well, normal
Yeah,
pale
pretty
ale.
fucking harsh. I was gonna go like 4.5.
No, well, I just think it's good. It's not terrible. Like I'd get it again, but I would only get it again if it was on special. Like
I only get it again because I'm special, but at the same time, I don't really drink this normally, so I can't really base it off that.
I'd say 3.8. Like it's a good safe bet.
I go 4.5 because I like it.
Okay. There's your 2 ratings.
Thank you guys for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment.
If you have any suggestions on anything you want us to talk about or any brews that you want us to review, let us know.
It makes it a lot easier if it's available at Dan Murphy's or something. Other bottle shops are available, of course. You don't have to just go to Dan Murphy's. Not sponsored.
Yes.
If you want to sponsor us, though, Dan Murphy's, do get in contact. We will happily take any fucking bottle shop wants to sponsor us.
Or just anything.
Anything, yeah.
Like, doesn't have to be even brew related.
Hell, fucking that Sunflower Company. Get on to me.
The Sunflower Farm. Yeah, look, if you have any suggestions on what you want us to talk about or how we can make this better, we're all ears. Again, we want to keep this real and authentic and realistic as much as we can. So we want to hear from you. So I suppose obviously we'll be releasing these episodes as we can. Each week we'll talk about new things. Each week we'll review a different brew. Not necessarily beers, who knows? One week we might try a fruity beer. The next week we might try cider.
Who knows? It won't always be beer. Maybe next week we'll try a different type of beer.
Who knows? This is the crazy shit we get into here on this podcast.
We mainly like beer, so it'll probably be mostly beer. But I mean, I'm keen to a bit of wine. So is he. Different wines though. I like my whites. He likes his reds.
Yes. But yes, let us know. We want to hear it. New brews, new reviews, new whatever you want to talk about. We're keen to hear it, and we hope you enjoyed. Like I said, obviously we've got multiple different channels going on, so look in the description and look at our channel links to see the different channels that we're going to be linked to. Again, like I said, we're really keen to get our gaming channel off the ground. But there's also obviously room for more as well. So watch this space and watch it evolve. And we're keen to grow and evolve alongside you guys, our amazing fan base and our amazing audience.
So thank you, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you, and we'll see you next week.